It is me, the Holix Healer, here with you today to talk to you a little bit about your inner wisdom, your intuition, on following your own unique soul blueprint path. So you might hear behind me some noises in the background. One of them is my fireplace, which you might hear crackling once in a while. I also have a water fountain going right now with some essential oils in it. So I'm really trying to create a beautiful healing space here. So I want you to feel the energy of that while we go through this broadcast. So for anybody that's new to me, my name is Becky Joe, and I am a spiritual counselor of sorts. I am a medical medium, a certified clinical master herbalist and aromatherapist. I am a jack of all trades with energy and frequency, and I absolutely, my favorite part of my job here on earth is to be a leader and a teacher. So in being a leader and a teacher on a higher realm than some of humanity walks, I walk in a higher vibration. And I don't say that because I think I'm above anybody. And I don't say that because I think I'm better than anybody. I say that because I want everybody to walk in a higher vibration. I think it is where we are all meant to walk. Okay. But the problem is that we kind of stay stuck in our old negative habits throughout our lives, don't we? And when we're sitting in what our subconscious mind has taught us, especially the first 7 years of our lives, is norm, that becomes our normal. So anything outside of what our minds and our human ego believes to be true, we question, we doubt, because our brains and our logical mind is trying to tell us that that is not possible, right? So how do we get past that, and how do we truly get to a place where we trust 1000% our guidance that's always within each and every single one of us at every moment of our lives? So that is the question. The answers lie within, of course, but how do we get those answers? Well, I'll tell you that it has been my unique journey. Since I was a child, I've always seen and heard and knew things that others did not. And growing up in a very small town, Midwest America, where little farm town where everybody, went to church on Sundays, and we were members of the Catholic Church in town. But church is church, and it was pretty judgmental and negative place to be for me as a child. I never felt any peace or harmony there, although it was not acceptable to be who I knew I was as a child. So I had to learn very quickly as a young girl to really try to block out what I was feeling and what I was seeing and what I knew, because I didn't want to be the one that didn't fit in. So that left me with many years of holding things in and kind of living a double life, so to speak. And so when I got to a place in 2012 where I had a very huge spiritual awakening that led me to know for sure who and what I am and why I'm here and why I'm different, from that day forward, I promised myself, and I promised my soul, and I promised the divine realms, whatever you define that as, that I would spend the rest of my life trying to teach humanity to walk in light and walk in love and to understand who and what we are. So for me, um, typically in the mornings when I drive my son to school, sometimes every once in a while, I will, after I drop him off, I'll be driving home and I will see what I call the High Council cloud. It is a very unique cloud that I see, and it literally looks like a high council up in the clouds. It looks like a long table with all kinds of, people and angels and beings sitting at the table. When I see this particular cloud, I know that that means that I need to do a broadcast that day. I know that somebody somewhere needs to hear my voice and needs to learn from me. So that happened this morning. So I knew I needed to do a broadcast today. So here I am, and I spent part of the day today trying to figure out what is it that you guys really need to hear, because everybody is out there in the spiritual community right now just really talking about everything, and it seems like there's a lot of mumble jumble garble going on and nobody's really learning anything. Everybody's just kind of spinning everywhere. And a lot of the people that are out nowadays that are doing the work that I do, they won't even look at you unless you pay them. And, that's not helping humanity. So I want to serve as very best as I can. So my guides and angels told me that we need a brush up today. We need a reminder as humanity. We need to be reminded who and what we are, and that inner wisdom inside us is more than we even understand. Okay. If you are new to your spiritual awakening, welcome. You are definitely needed in the world. You are probably a light worker, and maybe you don't know that yet, but if you do, you really, really need to start developing your skills and your intuition. You probably already have it. It's just a matter that, we like to doubt it, don't we? We like to think that everybody else in the whole entire world is good at their gifts and good at their intuition except us, right? You couldn't possibly be as good or as psychic or as gifted as someone else, right? Wrong. You are so wrong. If you even knew how beautiful your gifts are within yourselves, I mean, truly, intuition is something that's very strong in everybody, but it's, like I said, the problem is people don't listen to it. So the question most people ask me when they come, to a session with me, and, if I'm training somebody or doing like some psychic development with one of my clients, most people will ask me, Becky, how do you know which voice is that of your intuition, and which one of the many voices in my head is truth? And I hear this over and over and over, because people are like, how can one listen to their own inner voice if they can't recognize it? And that's a really good question. It's that's really one of the greatest losses to humanity today, to the society, is that we, as a species, humanity has lost touch with our own inner voice. And in doing that, we're losing a direct line of communication with the divine, you guys, with our own souls. And from the divine comes only truth. So since the beginning of time, humanity has been on this journey exploring the illusion that power is outside of us. It's something that we must acquire through education, work, money, blah, 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 blah. That's what we're taught, right? So you guys probably by now know, if you're listening to this broadcast, that that is not true. And that is not the truth of the matter. In fact, we were all given the truth when we were created. It is within us, and it's just waiting to be recognized by us, guys. So to recognize your own inner voice, or as some would call it, the higher self or intuition, we must know ourselves, you guys. You have to know your own self to know your higher self. It is definitely a craft that we must tend to in a conscious and regular manner. Kind of like a gardener tends to her plants, kind of like I tend to my herbs. You have to tend to building your intuition. So, to know your own self is to recognize that you are more than your body. You are far more than just your five senses. Guys, there are many, many more senses to the human existence. And our intuitive abilities are the voice of the divine. Do you guys hear that? I'm going to say that again. Your intuitive abilities are the voice of the divine speaking through you. Your life is happening through you, not to you. It is the voice of the unseen guides and teachers that you have, right? You guys realize and understand that we're not alone here on earth. We're not. And so when we judge the world and its activities by what we see with our physical eyes, by what we hear and taste and touch and smell, that is never, ever going to give us answers to all the great mysteries and miracles that surround us, is it? So when we're getting in touch with our intuitive abilities, it may seem difficult at first, but there are many, many paths to this goal, and everybody's path is different. So like anything else, you must definitely set an intention and take responsibility for your actions or non-actions, and proceed with trust in the process. That's not easy to do though, is it, guys? So think about this. When you're in school and you learn, like techniques, learning techniques, to discipline your mind, such as like, studying and repetition. So it's the same thing with your intuition. So to discipline the intuition, there are also techniques. So the first discipline is to literally know yourself. So, I firmly believe with all of my being that to heal the body, you must prepare the mind, right? So above all, my life has been literally an ongoing education of self inner knowledge. So once I truly knew myself and knew who I was, then I know without a shadow of a doubt that my intuition is real. It is true. It is absolutely on point. But the problem is that in order to completely be able to hear your intuition clearly, you have to clear your emotional field, you guys. Because being emotionally congested will block the truth from coming through. It's kind of like we have, our physical body, and then we have this energy field around us, and then we have another energy field around us, and we have another energy field around us, and we have all of our energetic bodies. And then on the outside of that, and I know this because I see visions of it all the time, on the outside of that is our higher self. Your higher self is literally the divine soul blueprint piece of you that is communicating with you on what your soul mission is and what you are to do in that moment. But if you are emotionally blocked, that negative energy that comes with that will block your divine thoughts. Okay? That is really, really key. I mean, we are continuously getting messages from divine, but we filter them and all the emotional garbage that we carry within us. So this garbage is from anything from, this current life, but can also be stuff from past incarnations that you bring back with you in order to heal that piece of your soul. So it's really, really important that instead of completely being in a space where the only thoughts we are getting are emotional, and that's coming from our ego mind, we need to let those come up, feel them, heal them, clear them, and realign ourselves with our soul. And you can literally feel when you're aligned. When you get to a place where, you are hearing your divine thoughts, if it's uplifting, if it's empowering, if it is something that is going to be for the highest and best of all, can't you just trust that that is your intuition? That is your inner voice. That is your soul. That's the thing is, people really have a hard time with this. But also, as humanity has evolved, we've all blocked the inner voice by creating this continuous field of like humming around us, which I can hear when I go into that divine space, when I go out of the plane of, I don't know how to explain it, the realm where we're at. When I energetically go out of the human realm, there's like this humming noise that happens. And it's like continuing. And it's like a whole field of this humming noise. And it blocks all of our inner voices from getting to us. And what it is it's this big field of negative energy. It's like thought forms and things that, from generations and generations and generations of human ick. So it's just an accumulation of all the experiences in all of our lives, which we react to with fear and judgment and guilt. And these are the experiences which may have caused like grief and pain that, we may have not come to forgive and let go. But I'm here to tell you guys, I personally have done this. The more you can forgive, the more you can heal and let go and transcend from the negativity, the louder you will hear your inner voice. I promise you, because that humming field becomes further and further away from you when you are aligned with your soul. So the thing is that there's so many different things that invade our minds nowadays and bring negative propaganda to us. The media, TV, what have you. They don't want us to know the truth, guys. They don't. So they're going to continue to make you feel like you're crazy, like you're, like you're weird or whatever. But I'll tell you what, I personally refuse to read or listen to any media. I will not. I will not educate myself on the topic. I will not. And I'll tell you why. Because when I stopped watching that and I stopped connecting with that, I started to be able to connect with my own intuition and my own inner voice double, triple. It came in so strong because I'm not connecting with that matrix of negativity. Okay. That is key here, is to keep yourself in a high vibration. Keep yourself feeling great inside. I'm not saying don't work through your traumas. I'm saying follow your signs. If you're seeing synchronicities, guys, it's an interconnection with the universe. It's an underlying web of links that brings people and events together in a way that, is not based on traditional comprehension of casuality. So during a spiritual awakening, that feeling of extreme restlessness in life, you can finally start to feel like there's an inner calling that cannot be ignored. Questions may arise, like, what am I doing here? And where am I going in life? And what's this all for? Is there a meaning for this? And I'm sure you're also asking, who am I and who is God? But there is an inner timetable for our awareness, guys. And right now, there is a huge spiritual alarm clock going off on Earth. Do you hear it? That spiritual alarm clock is waking us all up. We can no longer ignore it. It's time for all of us to be aware of that subtle synchronicity, along with using and trusting our intuition. Okay? So during this first cycle of awareness, when you're first starting to wake up, it is funny because you'll experience like chance coincidences, it'll seem like. And these are like truly mile markers in your spiritual awakening. Like, these synchronistic events will lead you to a path of your own spiritual truth. Be aware of things around you. Pay attention, guys. Synchronicities are like the events that happen when the universe is trying to tell you something. Just, as I said, it's like a signpost or a mile marker. Like a mile marker would give you information when you're traveling in a car. The amazing situations happen when your inner awareness changes, right? So your energetic thoughts and intents and direction of interests and desires will align with all the natural vibrations around you, okay? And it's either going to create harmony or it's going to create things crashing around you, okay? So really, really, truly, 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 the universe is always willing and waiting to show you something wonderful. Are you guys ready for it? The synchronicities bring to light information about your awakening, about your consciousness. It brings things to you like along with your subconscious aspects of yourselves, gently guiding you, directing you to what's in alignment with your own personal growth, okay? So synchronicities are those things that the universe sends us that whispers into your soul a little hint for you to watch and wait. Expect the unexpected, right? And right now, we're all hearing carefully, quietly, when our soul whispers, for one of the lessons are sometimes very subtle, okay? But here's the thing. We need to clear out emotional garbage so we can hear clearly. We can trust and know for sure that that voice inside our head, we are not making that up. You hear what you hear. You feel what you feel. You know what you know. You see what you see, without a doubt. How do you know? How do you start to trust that? Well, an important step in connecting with your own consciousness is you should be aware of the factors that determine your life and how they relate to your current life situation. So in other words, searching on the surface for answers is one thing, but realizing the depth at which they go is quite another. It takes depth to do your soul work, but I promise you it will come with the greatest rewards you've ever known. It's a matter of recognizing energies around you, the subtle energies around you, okay? Once you can do that, you can start healing these dramas and traumas around you. And then once you get there, then you kind of bring yourself to a place where you really recognize and know and understand that if you keep following what you feel inside, those things inside of you that you cannot ignore, that is your soul speaking to you, right? So why is it that so many people today are seeking answers from sources outside of themselves? Why is that? Well, because they don't know which voice to listen to, and that is a good question. And why is it that so many people are finding these answers with all these different gurus and masters and people all over the place? Why are we looking for these answers outside of ourselves? Seriously, take a good look at how these people live their lives. These people, these gurus like myself, I don't really call myself a guru, but we're way showers. We're here to help everybody else wake up. It is wonderful to listen and to hear and to learn from somebody. However, if anybody ever tells you that they are the only way for you to know your truth, red flag, red flag, red flag. And if they tell you that they're the only person that can heal you and teach you, red flag, red flag, red flag. You are your best teacher. You are your best healer. People like me facilitate that. Okay? We facilitate that. We align you with healing. Please, please, it is very important as you guys are waking up and coming into your intuition. There's a phase in your awakening where you're learning and recognizing like the symptoms of personal energy depletion. Like you'll start recognizing that some people make you feel wonderful when you're around them, but yet other people make you feel depleted, make you feel tired, make you just feel very overwhelmed. And those are what we call energy vampires or energy takers, okay? So the energy takers, whether they know they're doing it or not, they literally steal energy from you in a variety of ways. So remember that they may operate on a subconscious level and do not know what they're doing. And then there's those that do know what they're doing. The focus here really truly is for you to be aware of your life dramas and your own personal power when you're dealing with them, okay? Because the energy takers, they get the energy they need from others to satisfy what they're lacking. They're not willing to take responsibility for their own soul and their own mission. So they want to take from you. Okay. So when you get that to that part of your journey where you start recognizing that, and once you realize it, then you can disengage and reevaluate, you know, your position with that person and how you act and react. And by understanding how this dynamic works, you can bring forth the conflict to the conscious mind. Like always being aware that what's going on and what it is that hooks you into the drama and why you may hook others into yours. So it's really important, you guys, to focus on that which we want in our lives, okay? Not that which we don't, because universe does not hear certain words. Universe hears vibrations. So if we constantly keep complaining and talking about that which we don't like and don't want, universe is going to go, oh, well, you know, you're putting a lot of emphasis on this, so here, let's give it to you. And it will give it to you, okay? It is an inner knowing, an inner feeling, an inner calling, and you can hear it, okay? You know it when you are in a good or bad vibration. You can feel it. Can you not? So once you get to the point where you start really clearing out a lot of your past conflicts, right? Especially with family related stuff. That'll help you understand who you really are and where you came from. Have the opportunity to grow into who you're meant to be, and not confirmed by the past, not confined by the past. Your perceptions, when you follow your inner voice, will change tremendously. Once your mind is open to fully accept compassion, love, and forgiveness, you can then grasp your own connectedness to all that exists, okay? And once you do that, the great mystery itself will be revealed to you. This will open up your experiences to miraculous events of the universe, I promise you. So let me ask you this. I want you to ask you this. Can you see how your life used to be based upon past conditioned childhood responses? Okay. And then if you're awakened and you've kind of gone through some of these steps I'm talking about, can you now see how your reality has changed? Right? So it's not that your reality is a product of your past, it's a product of your awareness. Okay. You are not the same person as when you came here to the planet, right? So empowering yourself and really knowing and trusting that voice that speaks to you, that tells you. And I'm telling you, when you get to the point you are developing your intuition, okay, you need to trust that what you hear is truth. If you get a feeling about something, okay, say Joe Blow Schmo wants you to come work for him, and you aren't really sure whether that's going to be best for you or not, and you go home and take some time to think about it, and you take some more time to think about it, and you take some more time to think about it, and like your initial response was no when he asked you, right? But you go home and you're taking some time to think about it and taking some time to think about it, and then you're going to take some more time to think about it. Now you are going to waste a whole week sitting here thinking about it and trying to decide what's best for you, when truly, if you had been tuned into yourself, you would have heard yourself say, absolutely not, from the first second the information came in. Okay? That is how fast our inner voice speaks, but we don't believe it. We don't feel it. We don't hear it, because we think that we have to, our subconscious mind tells us that we have to mull it over and loop and think and think and think and think and think. And it also leads us to believe that we need to ask mom, and we need to ask dad, and we need to ask our spouse, and we need to ask our friends. And so we're texting everybody we know and asking what they think we should do, right? When the only answer you need is from within yourself, okay? So some really, really good exercises that you can do is when you're developing your intuition. I mean, truly, 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 I know it gets to be a little tricky, but as information comes into you and as you are developing this inner voice, this intuition, until you get to the place where, like somebody like me is, where we do not doubt it ever, because there's been millions of situations where we've followed it and it's led us to the highest and best situation. Okay. So while you're developing that, one of the best things that you can do is literally every single day, like I said, it's like a repetitive thing. Give yourself intuition exercises, okay? Write down, numbers. This is one thing I did, is I wrote down on a piece of paper numbers 1 through 5, and then I cut them into like cards, And every day I would practice trying to figure out what number is that, or maybe you have flashcards or even a deck of cards will work. Really, truly pull a card where you can't see it and ask yourself, what number is that? You will tell yourself the answer immediately. It's when you believe that answer and you go with that very first thought, okay? The very first thought is always your answer. So go with it, try it, see what happens. And the more you can do that and the more you can trust it, the more you'll start feeling confident in your inner voice. And you will eventually get to a place where nobody outside of yourself can tell you what's best for you, because you won't even need to ask anyone outside yourselves. Follow your inner voice. Follow those synchronicities that are happening all around you, because they're trying to align you with your highest evolution. Believe that. I promise you, when you start to really connect and engage and really truly know and recognize and understand how energy works, how frequencies work, how your soul works, it'll all come together. And after recognizing that there's energy in all things, truly the next step of your spiritual process then is learning that our energetic needs are not met by individuals, but rather we learn to gain our own energy from the universal energy force, right? So we learn that we have our own energy that speaks for us. We don't need anyone else to tell us, okay? So when we get in this space and then you remain in that state of blissful awareness, right? Your life transforms. So be mindful and be aware and allow the synchronicities in your life to guide you. Believe it. The universe will show you when you are out of balance. Believe it. Follow it. Feel it. You may experience a level of enlightenment someday or oneness with nature and others, right? And as your vibrational rate increases, you'll become more sensitive to energy in all things. And then you'll learn, you know, to take it in and take it into yourself in a positive and loving way. You'll get to a place where your love for everything is abundant. You'll have abundant feelings of joy, feelings of care, feelings of compassion. You'll be aligned with magic and miracles, and the love that you have for humanity and for planet Earth. Oh my goodness, that can easily transform anything on the planet when you are aligned with it, okay? Know this, okay? A deep compassion for life may lead you to new inspirations in helping mankind. It's probably part of your purpose. But the first step is learning to follow that inner voice and learning to heal and transmute and transcend those emotional loops that are in your subconscious mind, okay? You are in the process of awakening. Your heart is awakening, your mind is awakening, and you're recognizing your soul purpose right here, right now. That's why you're listening to this, okay? So eventually you'll know if something gives you a positive or a negative energy, you will willingly make the conscious decision to give back love energy, to keep that flow balanced, okay? Remember that a higher personal frequency brings on coincidences or synchronicities, thus transforms us, leads us to a higher frequency, and the circle of growth continues exponentially, okay? Take one day at a time. Listen to your inner voice. Trust yourself, know yourself, clear your energy. If you aren't feeling in love and in joy, there's some negative energy or a negative entity attached to your energy field. clear it, cut the cords, transcend, focus on love, focus on peace, focus on happiness and joy, focus on the blessings in your life, and you will bring many, many, many more to you. Okay? I hope that you learned something here today with me. I hope that you can really look at a higher perspective here, because I'm going to tell you, when it comes to what's happening on the planet right now, today, things are speeding up. Energy is speeding up, okay? And energy must remain high to be received. So we need to keep ourselves in a high vibration. Centering, focusing, meditating, deep breathing exercise all aid in absorption. This absorption and this reception of this light energy that's coming to the planet, okay? You know what? You are not separate from the light. You are the light. Become the light. Know that everything happens for a reason. Your thoughts feel different when you are vibrating at a higher frequency. So when you're not, reconnect often. Keep that flow open. Open that channel wide, okay? If you feel stuck in your spiritual life, wait. Be still. Wait for the messages to appear. You'll get your answers, guys. Remembering that your life questions from the previous you before you awakened always will aid you in asking questions about your purpose now, okay? Once you formulate your questions, you will get intuitive guidance. I promise you, the answers from the universe will demonstrate that your questions are most appropriate when you ask yourself, not someone else, okay? And even when you're wrong in your intuition, even your wrong answers that you're getting or no answers, you're learning from that, right? Learn from it. Believe it. And believe it or not, this process of awakening, it is not about getting answers, guys. This process on a deeper level is about attuning your physical body, your physical human being to higher frequencies, okay? This is about us identifying our soul path more clearly as an integrated process, as a collective, and as each individual figures out who and what we are and why we're here. Intuition is not about getting answers. It's about your growth as a soul, your inner awareness of what the next steps will be for you. And the more you practice, the more you will be reconnecting and maintaining your energy. And the more you do that, the more awakened you will become. To be open to receive this divine energy, one cannot pull the grass to make it grow, right? You cannot. Patience is the key to the world. Use it. Focus on the beauty around you. Experience feelings of closeness and connectedness. Exercise conscious breathing to slow the mind and increase overall awareness. Be still. Visualize breathing in white light to become lighter and brighter. Shine bright. Be aware of your emotions and physical reactions and notice your responses. That is your intuition, guys. Love is not intellectual or moral, but it is the base connection to the universe. Practice being aware. Practice breathing. Practice aware breathing to experience this energetic sensation. When you have connected yourself with the universal energy, pay attention to your random thoughts. And when you see synchronicities, when you see angel numbers, when you continually see signs. Pay attention to what's happening in your life. Pay attention to what you were just thinking about. It's surprising all the mind chatter that goes on, but only when your mind is trying to come up with this dialect, then you'll hear the noise, right? So become a quiet observer and pay attention to your thoughts. In doing that work, you'll discover that your mind can be quite humorous. You can laugh at it. And you may be filled with higher insights, clearer intuitions, stronger visions and knowings. If you really listen to your intuition and feelings, and especially your dreams, guys, pay attention to your dreams and your daydreams, because they can be powerful windows to your potential life's path and purpose. You may not know how a positive or happy event will come to you, but if you continue to follow your soul's direction, it will. I promise you. Okay? Please stay positive. And when negativity comes to you, let it come up. Ask it what it wants. Be a part of it. Connect with it. Okay? I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will connect with you soon. God bless.